Packers at Lions. We're going to be talking line moves, and VR has a free pick. So VR, first, let's talk about line moves. Tell us what happened in this game so far.
Okay, this one opened up with the Packers as a 7-point favorite. Total 47.5. As of today, the square shops are still at around 7, but some of the sharper outs are down to 6.5. Totals dropped down to about 46 as well, so there's definitely money on the under and on the dog early.
Okay, so we're taping Thursday afternoon. Slight movement on the dog. Now, you would expect public action on the Packers, especially if they're able to lay less than a touchdown. So my first thought, let's talk line prediction. Do you see this moving to 7 on Sunday?
Yeah, I think the betting public's going to force it to stay at 7. I mean, you got to look at it this way. This is a definite true steam move. For the wise guys to jump in and grab that 7 right away when you know this will be one of the more one-sided games by the betting public.
Packers have been playing well.
They're covering numbers left and right and getting a lot of public money each week. So people have been cashing with this team. And this is just one of those games that is going to be tied into more or less every exotic for sure. I could see Packer teasers all day Sunday.
All right, so let's back up a second. Is what you're telling me, and I agree, is the fact that the wise guys expected late Packer action, which all things equal would have moved the line up to 7.5.
Exactly.
They thought there's so much value at 7. Another
Correct.
wise guy might grab it. I better grab it first.
Exactly.
So here's an example. If the line does get back to 7 on game day, you can now bet like a wise guy at the same number as the wise guy
did. And from what I'm hearing, this is actually a significant position. Like any 7 that's out there, they've bought it right away, and people have been taking that 7 again and again. That's why your sharper outs that are willing to take that wise guy money are at 6.5.
All right. So you make a good point. Anyone with intelligence and knowledge can look at, understand which teams are public, understand
which games will get bet on heavy.
Yeah, so you can probably predict who's the public teams come game day. Anyone can look at the line moves that happened early in the week, and really, now there's some sophistication to this, but in general, you're going to be right 80+% of the time if you say a move with the public team could be either true action, a genuine position, or it could be getting ahead of a bigger move they see the public making. But a move against the public team almost always is a genuine line move.
I agree, unless there's an injury or something like that.
Some outside factor.
Where the book's rushing to adjust. Otherwise, it's a wise guy move for sure.
And that's something we all can do. Now, one of the things that you're especially qualified to do is you have people who are moving the line, friends, guys you used to work with when you were a runner, and you call up and you guys are talking in text, and I see it all the time, is you have an idea what the true intentions are, even beyond what you're able to read from here.
And this is not one of those positions where they were looking to manipulate the market and take a middle. They would have done the opposite, let's put it that way. They would have laid the 7 now, knowing they'd be able to get 8.5, even 9, the way they've been moving these lines by kickoff. Because we all know that public money outweighs the sharp money when it comes to the NFL week in.
But most of the public money doesn't speak till game day.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've defined genuine move on the lines. We've defined that it's probably going to drift back to 7 on game day. Now, what's your thoughts as a handicapper?
I totally agree with the wise guys here. I know it's tough to say back the Lions, but truth of the matter is, in the last 9 games, this team's only been beaten by more than 7 points 3 times. So they've been in games. Now you're getting them, as a 7-point home dog. They played Green Bay tough last time out. They lost by 2. And if you look at the stats in that game, the box score, you would think Detroit beat them. I mean, they outgained them by almost 2-to-1 in yardage, and Green Bay ended up winning that game by 2 at home.
I mean, the Lions have been one of the more hard-luck teams this year.
Exactly.
Now, to me, it's where historical, or let's say the last couple years, the Lions have been, one of the worst teams. Now, entering the year, the Sharp said Lions might be up-and-comers. In truth, they were probably playing like up-and-comers, but they've lost a few close games. And I think right now there's probably not only a premium on the Packers, the lines are a little undervalued.
Yeah, there's a huge premium on the Packers because here's a team that's covered 5 of the last 6 games. And we know that the public bets this team week in and week out, so they're comfortable backing the Packers. And when you're cashing tickets with them, why wouldn't you back them against Detroit? So
Who's the Packers got next week?
That's the key. Next 3 weeks, their final 3 games are against New England, the Giants, and the Bears. And if you look at that injury list for Green Bay, it's pages long. I mean, this team's really banged up. And I don't think this is one of those games where you want to lose more players.
So the Packers play the Patriots next week?
Patriots, they got New England, the Giants, and Chicago on deck.
Huh. So this is going to be potentially a classic flat spot.
Exactly.
So you got an overvalued team. Now remember, the Packers were the biggest up-and-comers right at the end of the preseason. I remember I was on First Take on ESPN, and at the time the Packers, I think they were 13-14 to 1,
Yeah.
and then and I was there a couple weeks before the season, and then in the next 2 weeks they became the
darling of the NFC,
you know,
sure.
yeah,
sure.
I mean,
Matt
Dallas
Rodgers is ready to take them to that next level. Their schedule was soft.
The injuries happened. A lot of people got off them.
Right
but
away,
now,
they lost their running back in that first
Yeah.
week or so of the season.
But
they're
these,
playing well. They are playing well, but I just think this is one of those games where I'm getting a divisional home dog who's playing hard. They have their third string quarterback in, so you know you got to come to play. You know, it's one of those injury type things where, you know, you sometimes you want to back a team with an injury because everybody's going to come to play that weekend.
Especially
you know,
the first week or two.
You can't rely on your star to get you through. And I just think we're going to see them play tough. Green Bay's beaten this team, 10 straight times. So I'm not saying it's going to be one of those easy games and go out there and blast Detroit money line. But what I am saying is this is the
value.
There's value on the line. And as far as the handicap goes, I really think Detroit could keep it tough. They could keep it close, keep it within a touchdown. And with what Green Bay has on deck, even situational-wise, this is just one of those spots where I love the home dog.
All you can hope for when you're taking 7 is that the true line, the line that would split the result 50-50, would be 4.5. If you're taking 7 instead of 4.5, that's your edge. And that's all we can hope for here.
And on a neutral field, I would not make the Packers a double-digit favorite over this team.
In which, let's think about that. To go from the Lions at home to a neutral would be 3 points and then another 3 to Green Bay. So does Green Bay lay 13 at home? Is it 10 on a neutral? Is it 7 at the Lions? That's the 3 levels of, you know, home, neutral,
exactly.
away.
And they were given 2 touchdowns at Green Bay when they played early in the season, but that was 9 or 10 weeks ago, I believe. And, you know, since then, like I said, we've seen Detroit play a lot of close
And that line
games.
could have been wrong, too. That's
it
the
was
whole point.
wrong. Detroit lost by 2 points in that game, so they came through and covered. And I still think this line's way off. I think this line should be closer to 4.5.
And that Jets
5.
win, let's be honest, that Jets win against the Packers doesn't look so good at this point.
Exactly.
I mean, it's still a nice win, but, you know, compared to, I think the Jets have been exposed somewhat
Well, we saw
on
Monday
Monday
night.
night.
Yeah.
Now, last point, what I find interesting, we got a lot, you know, pregame, we got a lot of great pros, a lot of different styles. You're a guy that's uniquely suited to do the following, is you can read the market very well. You know what the wise guys really intended, both from your ability to read the data and your connections. Then you have your own handicap on top of that. Then you get to hear what the wise guys really are doing from your network and your friends. And then you have a great ability to predict where the line's going.
To bet at the right time.
I mean, really, let's be honest. If you can bet the same side as a wise guy, you know it's what they wanted. It's not some false move or they're going to boomerang the game. And you can get the same number. Betting the same side of a wise guy is easy. You're going to be right 9 out of 10 times. Just follow the 3-point moves. But you can't lay 7 when the wise guys laid 4.
Exactly, or you'll lose money in the long run. You'll get crushed. But more finally, for this game, what I suggest on that point is that you sit back and you wait till as close as kickoff as possible. Because not only will it be 7 across the board, but you'll see 7 minus 120. You'll even see
Which means you can take the 7 at even money.
Yes, or even grab that half a point now and get it over that 1 touchdown. You know, and more importantly, your square shops might even not be afraid to take it up to that 7.5 because they don't take wise guy money anyway.
So
Why
play
wouldn't they?
as late
As you
to
possibly
game time
can,
as you can.
for sure.
All right. Now it's your turn to continue the conversation in the comment section with VR and myself. And next up, we're going to do a second video. We're going to be talking about college basketball handicapping during the month of December. We'll be right back.